of faith disagree. The Faith Voices of Reproductive Justice is the grassroots movement of people of faith from diverse religious traditions and people of no religious faith that will not allow anyone to choke off our reproductive justice rights. We will never give up our individual conscience and religious freedom or our God-given right to choose. Today, I am here to bring the voice of those of us that are people of color, those of us that will be hurt the most by the bills moving to the floor tomorrow. I am, as a prophetic, progressive, and powerful voice of faith, here to take God back from the hostage situation that some religious folk have taken it into. Today, we are here to remind those in this state that we are not too distracted, we are not too tired, we are not too fearful to let them keep us from the focus of fighting for the policies that improve the reproductive health of Texas women. As a matter of fact, we are here to remind our state politicians that the crisis of COVID that has killed more than 50,000 Texans and the fragile power grid that left millions freezing in the dark just last February, I was one of them, has renewed our strength to oppose their attempts to codify a single religious standard and ignore the rich diversity of Texans and our belief about our reproductive rights. Actually, the truth with a capital T is that I, you, and the clergy around me here together, in the middle of a pandemic, we're here to show them that from this moment forward, we are putting the people that are pushing the agenda of these sweeping anti-abortion restrictions and hurdles on notice, that our resilience is real, that our resistance is renewed, and that our demands for our God-ordained inalienable rights and for respect will be the revolution. I'm asking my clergy to take their hands and place it over their hearts as a reminder that the heartbeat that we all feel right now is what we're fighting for. As a reminder that from this moment forward, everything will change. That we will not go down without a fight. That this heartbeat that we all have is the reminder that we will keep moving forward. This is our commitment, and this is our message. Thank you.
My name is Rabbi Kelly Levy, and I have the honor of serving Congregation Beth Israel here in Austin. And today I am participating on behalf of Just Texas, Faith Voices for Justice. I stand here today, a person of faith, a leader in the community, a member of the clergy, a woman, a mother, and most especially a human being. Because of these many hats, I know that several bills currently making their way through the Texas legislature are not only a danger to a person seeking medical care, which includes abortion, but to any person, no matter their gender identity, who have the right to their own bodily autonomy. This includes the right to make medical choices that allow each person the opportunity to live their lives fully, completely, and in many cases safely and healthily. For centuries, Jewish tradition has expounded on the value of pikuach nefesh, the importance of saving a life. Too often, legislation like House Bill 1515, House Bill 1280, House Bill 2337, House Bill 3218, and most especially House Bill 3760 have not focused on the person attempting to seek this life-saving medical care. Too often, the needs of the individuals trying to care for themselves are pushed aside for the sake of an unborn fetus. Today, we state with unwavering voice, we must save the lives of all individuals seeking medical care. We must stand up and protect those who require access to safe and legal abortions. As people of faith, we fully support the rights of people to take actions that would save their life, the life that already exists. Judaism's sages and rabbis taught that the life of the person carrying the fetus must always take precedence, as that person is the only living being in this situation. The needs of the person carrying the fetus take priority no matter what. The legislators attempting to pass these dangerous bills must understand that mental well-being is as crucial and imperative as physical well-being. By limiting a person's ability to gain access to abortion for any reason, we put people in need of medical care directly in harm's way. We stand here today, an interfaith group of clergy, people who believe in the importance of caring for and protecting the people of this state. We stand by the words of our ancient scriptures, words that have provided us with ethical and moral teachings, but also guided us in creating holy community, a sacred space for all human beings. We trust those in our care to make the best decisions for their own bodies. We trust them to do what is right for their families. We trust them to follow those same ethical teachings that state unequivocally, we must protect the lives of those already living, the lives of those who seek medical care, the lives of those who need access to safe and legal abortion. Our elected officials have forgotten what it means to focus on those lives, the ones already here. They have forgotten what it means to care for others. Pikuach Nefesh demands that we save the lives of those souls already in existence, the people working, going to school, living, and breathing here in our state. Today, we ask that our elected officials remember to save those lives, the ones already here. The safety, well-being, and health of our state depends on it.
The relationship between a parishioner and a pastor is one of sacred trust. My name is Andres Kutsi and I'm the pastor at University Presbyterian Church in San Antonio. I'm standing here today as part of Just Texas, Faith Voices for Justice. I am deeply concerned and saddened by the far-reaching anti-abortion legislation currently being considered. These baseless attacks on abortion access for purely political gain are an abomination, as they prey on the most vulnerable within our society, while they attack the bodily autonomy, the moral agency of the people of God. Further, these draconian restrictions jeopardize the separation of church and state, religious freedom, and freedom from government intrusion into private decisions. It appears to me that some lawmakers are throwing every abortion bill that they can think of at us to see what is going to stick. Like a bowl of spaghetti, these include a near ban, a 6-week ban, civil litigation, restrictions on medical abortion, counseling requirements, and reason bans that would force providers to interrogate patients. Meanwhile, Texas is facing multiple crises. Can you believe it? While they attack, our legislators attack citizens, we are facing multiple crises. We do not need this spaghetti approach to government, where you throw everything against the wall to see what sticks. We need intentionality. We need intentionality to deal with some of the most pressing issues that is before us, including the COVID-19 pandemic and a winter storm recovery that affect, once again, the most vulnerable among us. As a person of faith, I'm saddened as this spaghetti approach lacks the intentionality needed to uphold the sacredness of all human life. It is an irony that a people who are so-called pro-life minimize life by the laws they bring before the Capitol. You cannot reduce a person's life to a bowl of spaghetti. Furthermore, the spaghetti approach to governing, with its lack of intentionality, has far-reaching implications for my divine call as a pastor and our congregation's commission to fulfill Jesus' great commandment of love. Let me be clear, HB 1515 is highly problematic and it is extremely dangerous. This bill not only creates an outright ban on abortion before many Texans even know that they are pregnant, but it also opens the door to frivolous and harassing lawsuits against both a doctor who performs an abortion and anyone who aids and abets the performance of an abortion. That is highly problematic to me as a pastor and as congregations. As a spiritual leader for 23 years, I've heard the cry for bodily health and spiritual strength that goes out from a soul to its pastor. More often than not, these calls are most intense when involving reproductive decisions. It is within this sacred relationship, then, that you can share your sorrows that are too deep for your heart to bear and your joys too expansive to contain. Therefore, my denomination, the Presbyterian Church USA, is clear that we as humans are empowered by God's Spirit to make significant moral decisions, including to decide to continue or to end pregnancy. Our denomination is also clear that as a pastor and as a congregation, we have a duty to counsel, to pray with, and to support siblings who face reproductive decisions. From my own personal experience, I know that the decision to terminate a pregnancy is intensely personal, and it doesn't always follow neatly public rhetoric or fit neatly into medical, legal, or policy guidelines. Yet, as a church, we do not shy away from entering this difficult decision, as we follow the commandment of Jesus of Nazareth, who said in John 15, that you love one another as I have loved you. No one has greater love than this, than to lay down one's life for one's friends. Yes, the relationship between a parishioner and a pastor is one of sacred trust and cannot be legislated. It cannot be legislated, as God alone is Lord of the conscience and not Caesar. And let me be clear on this, that this statement that God alone is Lord of the conscience is not a statement of male dominance. It's a political statement that says God alone and not Caesar. Therefore, instead of these senseless attacks on abortion for political gain only, let us unite as the clergy here unite today. We have our differences, but today we are united in our love and in our compassion, so we as a state can grow and help people to grow in their full God-given potential. Thank you.
I am Rabbi Nancy Kasten, Chief Relationship Officer for Faith Commons, a multi-faith organization devoted to bringing the voices of people of faith into the public square for the common good. Thank you to Just Texas Faith Voices for Justice for providing the opportunity to speak out against bills that put the lives and well-being of women and their families at risk. In a democracy founded upon freedom of religion and bound by our Constitution to separation of church and state, all of our faith traditions are best served by the miracles that scientific discovery has to offer. Most of us believe that modern science and medicine are gifts from a higher authority and should be utilized for healing alongside faith and prayer. The 16th century code of Jewish law, called the Shulchan Aruch, states that true healing is the result of efficacious prayer. But not every person merits such an outcome through prayer alone. Human beings, therefore, have to rely on medicine too, through the authority granted trained medical practitioners to administer treatment. Those practitioners, in turn, are religiously bound to perform their duty. If they withhold treatment, they are regarded as one who sheds blood. Furthermore, one should not occupy themselves with medical treatment unless they are an expert, and there is none greater than they. For if so, that person is regarded as one who sheds blood. With these anti-abortion bills, Texas state government seeks to override best practices of doctors and clergy alike. By criminalizing life-saving medical procedures, these bills will endanger and sacrifice the lives of women, children, and healthcare providers. These bills do not serve Texans of any faith. SB 8, HB 1515 do not serve the nascent lives they claim to protect. Instead, they punish women for having sex, stripping them of their ability to protect their own lives and the lives of their children. As clergy of different faith traditions, and even within our own traditions, we may differ in our beliefs about when life begins. But we agree that once life begins, it should be preserved and protected to the greatest extent possible. Yet today in Texas, women are dying from conditions either caused or exacerbated by pregnancy and childbearing. A disproportionate number of them are poor women and women of color. They are often women who already have children, children who are left without a mother to care for them. Today in Texas, a girl denied the information she needs can become pregnant and not know what is happening to her for way more than 6 weeks, for even months. Another girl or woman might suspect she is pregnant but not have the cash on hand to purchase a pregnancy test. Today in Texas, a woman who discovers she is pregnant could easily be one of the 20% of Texans who lack health insurance. So she won't be able to get prenatal or postpartum care unless she can pay for it out of pocket. We need to tell our state senators and representatives, as well as Governor Abbott and Lieutenant Governor Patrick, that we are pro-lives, not just pro-life. And we expect them to be too. What does it mean to be pro-lives? It means protecting the ability of physicians to provide comprehensive reproductive health care to their patients instead of criminalizing life-saving medical treatment. It means radically expanding access to tools that help boys and girls, women and men avoid unintended pregnancy, like comprehensive, medically accurate sex education and contraception. It means expanding access to medical care rather than closing clinics that serve poor people and people who live in rural areas, denying parents and children resources they depend on to stay healthy and well. Elected officials who are pro-lives rely on science to provide the women and families that they to protect the women and the families that they represent. They do not rely on slogans which only protect their own longevity in office. Pro-lives lawmakers are the people who deserve to be elected because they do protect their constituents. And if they serve us with integrity and faith, they will merit their re-election. We call upon our representatives, senators, governor, and lieutenant governor to defeat these bills which threaten lives rather than protecting them, and to turn their attention to passing the many pro-lives bills languishing in committees right now. Thank you.
We are now open up to questions if anybody has questions. Nobody? Okay, all right. Well, thank you. Thank you for being here.